This exhibition is a culmination of several years of work, primarily about birds in the northwest of birds in Montana. I spend a lot of time outdoors, and initially they started just with simple drawings, and then they kind of blossomed into these paintings that got more and more complicated. Some of them were painted with really small brushes, but the technique is basically done with what used to be paintbrushes, sticks and nails where the paint's pulled wet into wet, one stroke at a time, to create this almost kind of organic vegetation kind of look. So the paintings were basically meant to be these pictures of these birds that I would see on the Yellowstone River where I live, either fly fishing or hiking. And it's like when you're walking through an area that's really dense vegetation and you see a small opening and then you see a bird sitting on a branch, or you'll see a deer or a bear or a lot of different things in this little tiny opening. So the paintings became kind of framed, where I would frame the image with the technique that I was using. I really like bright colors, obviously. What I wanted to do with the colors in these paintings, I wanted to be able to see the images that were going to be the central image, or even as the paintings progressed and the image took over a lot more of the canvas. So a lot of times I would use the darker colors to sort of frame the edges of the painting. Like, this is the frame, this is what you're looking through, with a central image of a bird, which they all are. In back of the bird would be like these really light pastel colors, but I'm using a lot of translucent colors too, and a lot of colors that have iridescent paints in them. I'm a wildlife person. I live on the edge of the wilderness. I live in a place that's sparsely populated. So I felt like Wild Heart was a metaphor for me and for what I'm doing with my artwork. It has an attachment to wildlife and how much I love it and how much I like being in it. The relief pieces that are in, there's one in the show, it's a birdhouse type of structure with two bird heads sticking out of it. It's something that relates back to work I had done 10 or 20 years ago where my paintings were more three-dimensional. The birdhouse was an interesting kind of shape to me. And so the birdhouse changed shapes all the time, and also the kind of birds that inhabit it. I'm using a lot of recycled material to kind of decorate the surfaces with too. But they're made on polystyrene, and then they're covered with canvas that's glued on with gel medium, and then that's gessoed, and then it's painted by moving the piece around actually.